even when Rice hit his home run, I was like, yeah, it's going to be one of these games where they get just enough to make it interesting, but they're not going to push over the edge.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match of $100. With me as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Stacey, the nosedive continues.
I mean, what's right in front of them, Aaron Boone? The bottom of the cliff, maybe? Mm-hmm. Is that what they're seeing right in front of them?
It's getting late early.
It's getting late early. It really is. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go up. We are going to preview Game 2 of the Rays series. We're going to discuss an article from The Athletic. Should Yankee fans be panicking? You might be surprised by my answer. Maybe. But first, can we get an opener for Carlos Rodón? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe someone should pitch the first inning for him, and then he'll go out in the second and he'll be fine.
He had a few of these starts last year, too, where he actually pitched decently throughout the game, but still gave up 4 earned because his first inning was terrible. But regardless, you're a starting pitcher. You can't start off games this way. And He's done this consistently now. And I'm sorry, too. Like, I know when you look at the final box score, right, you'll look at the 4+, you'll look at only giving up 4 runs, which is an improvement of his last couple starts. He was not good today.
No.
I don't want to hear about how he was better in the second, third, and parts of the fourth. He was not good today. He was leaving balls right over the plate. He had no command of the fastball, wasn't putting it in the spot it needed to. Something has clearly changed in Carlos Rodón's game. Yeah. And I mean, if no one's trying to fix it yet, when is it going to try and get fixed? Because now we're on a month now of him having bad starts.
Right. Like, this isn't a couple of bad starts anymore. This is a full month of terrible starts. Terrible. That was Correct. Terrible. And what's even worse about it is you have Gleyber come back. He hits the big single that puts them up 1-0. You're like, oh my God, they have a lead. It's 1-0 in the first inning. Good start. Yay. Within 2 seconds.
Over.
It's over. It's over. 4 straight hits, culminating with a 3-run home run by Paredes. Is that how you say his name? Like, just unreal. And with the way that the offense,
the game felt over in the first inning, is what you're going to say. It was over
in the first. Yeah. It really was. You know, and even when Rice hit his home run, I was like, yeah, it's going to be one of these games where they get just enough to make it interesting, but they're not going to push over the edge.
No. And you kind of felt that way too when it was made 4-3. It was like, game's 4-3, but are they coming back in this game? You knew they weren't coming back. No. It's gotten to the point now when, you know, if you have no confidence in this team coming back in games, and it's funny because in April and May, I thought, they can easily come back. Doesn't matter. Now you have no confidence they're coming back in any of these games. And like we said, you know, it is getting late early in these games. The starting rotation is giving you no length. By doing that, you're depleting your bullpen. The lineup has, I mean, you're looking at the graphic that was up on the S Network today. Ben Rice is second in RBIs on the team since he debuted. Ben Rice, who's leading off. It's gotten so bad. And I don't know. I mean, I guess Ben Rice could play every day. Yeah. So you plug the first base hole. Wonderful. Where are you going at these other positions? Because everybody else is a zero. And I know Gleyber had the hit today, but what has Gleyber done in the last month? 2 months, 3 months? I mean, and it's not just him. LeMahieu with the lackluster play in the field that was so DJ LeMahieu-like, where he just basically ran past the ball. Volpe's now been bad for a month. And Volpe started off the year wonderful. And we thought he had a chance to be an all-star. And he's been awful for a month now. I mean, you got to call it like it is, right? Like, we love to defend Yankee players, love to give you guys honest feedback, but we're going to call it like it is on this show. And, you know, Anthony Volpe has been terrible. Rodón, after starting the year, unbelievable, has been terrible. Marcus Stroman has been but I think we knew he was that one coming into the year, so I can't really blame Marcus Stroman. Nestor Cortez has been good. Despite the record, he's actually been good. But Luis Gil in the last month, awful. I mean, what else you want me to say? Clay Holmes, who got into the All-Star game, has also been awful in the last month. He has. I mean, I don't know how he got into the All-Star game because his ERA over the last 18 starts is like a complete reversal of what he did in the first 18. It's just there are too many guys on this team, and in too many places has it piled up where there's too many guys that are playing poorly. It's not 1, 2, 3 guys. It feels like it's every guy on the roster minus Judge and Soto.
But it feels like everything turned on a dime. There was one day in June where everything just suddenly
for me
turned around.
Every Yankee fan I've talked to seems to have a different marker on where they consider it when it turned. I'll tell you mine, and I think yours is a little bit after mine. I think yours is somewhere in the Dodgers series. I think you said mine's the Red Sox series at Fenway. It's some reason it's right after. For me, it's right after the Verdugo home run on Friday. Mm-hmm. Right after that Verdugo home run, when he hits the home run, walks around the bases slowly, fist bumps, like he's in his groove. Right after that, the season took a complete turn. Yeah. And that was over a month ago now.
Actually, it's just about it's close to a month because I think that was June.
But that's how bad they've been playing.
15th.
It's been that bad. They've played that bad over the last month where, I mean, there's no explanation anymore. I can't give you an explanation and I want to, but I don't have anything to say. They've been that bad.
It's like someone has a voodoo doll with the Yankees uniform on it, and it's made nearly everyone bad. It's unbelievable how everyone turned into a pumpkin at the same time. You know, the old Cinderella thing, like turning back into a pumpkin. Like it all happened at the same time.
And we've talked about it a million times. You get the same answers out of the manager. You get the same lackluster effort out of the players. You get no one calling anybody out in the locker room. It's business as usual. I don't know. Again, like we talked about it all this whole year. Who are they going out and acquiring exactly at the deadline too?
Right.
Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, they're going to go get this." Who are they acquiring? Who's the player that's out there? Where's the Yoenis Cespedes deal? Where you go out there and this guy catapults you into a World Series or a playoffs? No. The only move out to be made is the manager right now. It's the only move, and it has to be made. I don't know how you go forward with this manager. This is the 5th straight year they've done this. You can't keep going forward with the same effort, the same manager, the same country club attitude. I know that he's a player's manager, and I know the players love him. And that's totally fine. And I think in the best of both worlds, you have a guy that treats the players like this, but also has a sense of discipline around the team. There's no discipline around this team. They get off to a hot start. The country club atmosphere comes into the locker room, and then it's over. And I mean, they're pitfalling right now. Forget the division. They're pitfalling their way out of a wild card spot. They've been that bad.
Yeah. And, you know, Cashman spoke to the media because he's down in Tampa for draft stuff. Mm-hmm. And apparently Hal was at the game tonight, so I'm glad he saw that in person. And he said something about getting off to the good start and having the cushion, right? Mm-hmm. Which is what I was talking about. When did I mention that on the show? Where I was like, this is their mentality. Like they're thinking, oh, well, we got off to this really good start. We have this cushion. So if things go bad, it's going to be okay. If we'll have time to turn it around. When are you turning it around?
And what it's not, that's not even the point of when you're going to turn it around. The point is, how are you going to turn it around? Right, what are you going to go do? Like, that's my point that I've been making. Who is this magical player that Cashman's going to go out and acquire? Who's the guy that he's going to go out and acquire that's going to make this team, that's going to launch this team into right back where they were? That guy doesn't exist. He's not out there. And that's the point that I'm making is what if he keeps saying this of, you know, they have time. Thank God they got off to this great start. I know I'm very thankful they got off to this great start. What is the move that you're going to make to preserve this season? Because you're the guy in charge of making that move. And is it Mason Miller? Is giving up the farm for the best reliever in baseball right now, is that changing this whole season? Right. I don't think so. And who's the hitter you're going to go acquire? Who's the starting pitcher? There is nobody. That's the point. There is no move. The move right now and the move all season, it's got to be to get rid of the manager. You have to, and it works. It's worked in past seasons. It's not like this is an old school thing that, you know, you did in the late 80s or 90s hoping to turn its season around. The Phillies did it 2 years ago with Girardi, and Rob Thompson stepped in and they went to the World Series. Can be done. And at this point, you know, I mean, look at these Rodón numbers that you were talking about. Look at what he did today. I mean, look at his numbers so far.
Yeah, a 9.58 ERA in the first inning.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be starting off games like that. You're behind before you know it in every game.
Yeah. So his season ERA is now 4.63. It's the third worst ERA for any pitcher with at least 100 innings. Congratulations. Every day there seems to be a new thing that a Yankee is breaking in a negative way, or the team as a whole is doing something that they haven't done in a century. So
what's scarier
yeah.
too is look at his pitch usage from today,
Yeah,
because
let's
his
put that
pitch
up.
usage, look at this, guys. 46 fastballs, this and 26 changeups. This is what he does when he's elite. When he's elite, this is what his pitches look like. He leads with the four-seam fastball. It's one of the best fastballs in all of baseball. So if you look at it from this angle, which is kind of depressing, this is how Rodón pitches when he's at his best. So if he's struggling with this being his pitch count, what the heck's he going to look like if he tries to change things around? That's what's even scarier.
Right. And he also threw 95 pitches in 4 innings. And that includes a 13-pitch second inning.
Can't happen.
So
can't happen.
So I wanted to read this quickly before we go to segment 2. This was a quote from Aaron Boone in the post game. So if you were watching on YouTube and you saw me looking down, I was on my phone, like frantically going through Twitter, trying to find this quote because I couldn't remember which beat writer put it up. But it says, "It starts with me and I filter in through the coaches, and it's about us trying to get these guys prepared the best we can, setting a tone with how we present ourselves."
What does that even mean?
What does that, 1, what does that mean? 2, why is everything so different than April and May and the beginning of June? I don't understand. How are they not prepared?
If you were winning games back then, what are you changing?
Right. These are professional dudes. These are professional guys who know how to play baseball. They know how to play good baseball. They're just not playing good baseball right now. And they need some sort of motivation, some sort of kick in the rear end. And the only thing that's going to jumpstart this, and we said it on yesterday, they have to fire Boone. They have to. They can't recover from this with Boone. They just can't.
No, you're right. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if push comes to shove, and we'll see if they have the guts to do it. I personally don't think they do. No. Because we've said this multiple times over the last few years. I mean, different Yankee fans, everyone around the whole team, and then hasn't been done. So where that confidence is coming from, they're going to all of a sudden turn around and do it now. I don't know, but I sure as heck hope it does come. It does come because, I mean, something they're trying to start this season. You make a trade for Juan Soto. You have all these guys signed to these contracts. You cannot go into the second half of this break with the same stagnant offense. You just can't. Same stagnant team, same stagnant everything. I don't know how you could expect this thing to turn around. And I don't want to hear the quotes about how, thank God we got off to this great start to the season so we can afford to play this bad. No one can afford to play this bad. No one can afford to play this bad. No. And unfortunately, that's what they've done. So you got to try and change things around. And you're unfortunately, you're limping as bad as we thought going into the All-Star break.
Yep. All right. We got to move on to segment 2, which is even more depressing. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. That means ask your questions for Fan Mail Friday, because some of you are replying to it with just general statements. I want your Fan Mail Friday questions under that pinned comment. Use the rest of the comment section for statements and thoughts and stuff like that. I know I'm sounding like a teacher yelling at a student, but you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, and if you do, you get top priority during Fan Mail Friday. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions and reactions. I have not looked tonight. Can't wait to see what you guys said. There's a 14-day free trial. All right, coming up, Yankee fans, should you be panicking about this recent stretch? We discuss that next. This episode of Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. It's summer. That means baseball, but summer also means travel. So why not mix the two? Don't you think it's time you explored some of those cities across the country that you secretly wanted to learn about? That's right. We're talking about the Yankees' rival cities. Planning a trip to Fenway to see the Yankees take on the Red Sox? Booking.com makes it a breeze. And it's not just about hotels. You can choose from a variety of accommodations like bed and breakfasts just outside of Boston, vacation rentals, resorts, and more, all with the convenience of Booking.com. On Booking.com, you can find the perfect stay even in your baseball rival city. And for Yankee fans, that means more than just Boston. It means Baltimore and Tampa as well. You can book hotels that overlook stadiums, book family-friendly resorts, and more. Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this MLB season. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com, on the site, or in the Booking.com app. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by Game Time. If you're looking for tickets for just about anything, check out the app Game Time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and shows near you. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to moments before your event starts and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats, so if you decide to go to Yankee Stadium and it's 7:15 and the game started at 7:05, you can still get tickets. I looked last week for tickets, and at 7:37, they were still available. You can also find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app today and get $20 off your first purchase with code LOCKEDONMLB. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So, Yankee fans, should we be panicking about this recent poor stretch? Is it poor or is it abysmal?
Abysmal is the right word, I think, right at this point.
Yeah, I think abysmal is correct. Just, woo, like we were talking about in segment 1. You feel good when Gleyber gets the RBI single. You're like, nice, he's back. Okay, he did something, he contributed first inning, and then Rodón. Like literally, it wasn't 2 seconds. It was within 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, you're just sitting there going, should I watch the rest of this? Because I know how this is going to play out. Why bother? And I joke with people all the time. I said, I cover the Yankees for a living, so I have to watch them. You don't. You guys can, turn away and put something else on and protect your mental health. What are you doing?
Yeah, The Athletic came out with an article earlier today on the panic meter of each position, and I wanted to go through it with you because I think it's genuine. And I think a lot of these numbers are terrifying, and I think when you actually question yourself on them, you realize, oh geez, they might actually be that bad. Their catcher panic meter, I'm assuming these are out of 10. It's 3. I'd agree with that. The running on guys has cooled off a little bit. It has. Yeah. They're not getting run on as bad. And you don't really expect that much out of your catcher position to begin with.
Right.
So I think it gives you a little bit of a softer blow. What I would say is the next number is the scary number. Because their panic meter on infielders is a 9. And I don't know if you have more, less, or if silence does the talking here, but that's an extremely concerning number.
Well, yeah, because you have DJ at third. I mean, he got 2 hits, but, he's still looking awful. So you have DJ third. Volpe, like you said in segment 1, hasn't done anything in a month.
At all.
Gleyber hasn't really done anything all season. And first base, yes, Ben Rice has come out and done really well.
It hasn't been that great, though. It's getting amplified because they have nothing.
Well, he's picked up in the last few games, and he's providing them with the offense that the other guys aren't providing them with. But I think the more playing time he gets and the more that Boone realizes, oh, I might as well just play him against lefties because he's okay. But out of all those guys, like he's the only one that I'm not worried about him because he's a rookie. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like there's nothing to lose with him. It's like, okay, if he hits really well, cool. If he doesn't, oh, well, I mean, stuff happens. But the rest of them, So yeah, 9 is a good number. I was going to say, I don't know if 9 is too high and if I would pick more of an 8, but no, 9 seems right because the only position I'm not worried about at the moment is first base.
Gleyber Torres ranks last in baseball in second baseman production. And that's accounting all second basemen who have at least 100 bats this year. He has 11 errors in the field, which is the most for second baseman in the league. Anthony Volpe has been MLB's, and this is from the Athletic article. Anthony Volpe has been one of MLB's 15 worst hitters since April 10th.
Oof.
I mean, think about it. I mean, you're looking at numbers that DJ LeMahieu, 58.1% ground ball rate, 58% of the time. I mean, it's been so bad. I mean, they traded for John Birdie at the start of the year. Hasn't been seen ever. I mean, I haven't had him back. The infield is so bad. I mean, you compare this infield to what they had in 2009, and it's night and day.
Yeah, that was one of the best infields ever.
Yeah. You look at the outfield, they get the panic meter there to a 2. I'd agree with that. Verdugo's offense hasn't been amazing, but he does give you some power, and also he's a tremendous fielder.
He's made
a little bit of a bozo play today, but overall he's been a tremendous fielder. And Judge and Soto, I mean, that's the only bright spot you really have on the team.
Yeah, I mean, Soto's made a few plays in the outfield where you're kind of like, ugh, but
not enough where you really worry about him out there, though.
Right. But when he does make bad plays, they're really bad. You know what I mean? Like, they're not often, but when
he's not known as a stellar fielder, though.
Right. And we knew that coming in. But yeah, I would agree with that. Because even like if you look at when Judge isn't playing outfield, you got Grisham out there, or someone else who's out there for when Soto's out. I would agree with the 2.
The scariest part is they're marking the Yankees starting rotation at a panic meter of a 6. And that I'd actually totally agree with too, because I mean, they have the worst ERA in baseball since June 13th. So over the last month, their ERA is the worst in baseball after how good the start was. I know Matt Blake had that quote saying, well, they're going to regress to the mean because they've started off so well. But Stacey, this
isn't the mean. This is
they went from the best in baseball to the worst in baseball. Right. So I guess are you telling me that they're completely average? It's that bad. I mean, this rotation has been atrocious, and the bullpen panic meter, and I don't think you could really fault this one. It's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because Clay Holmes was named to the All-Star team, and I mean, he called it a puzzling decision on the Athletic. I call it that too. I don't understand how Clay Holmes got in the All-Star game. I have no idea. He's at like an 80 RA since the start of since the midpoint of the season so far. This entire bullpen's been awful. And I don't know where they go from here. I think the only move is the manager. I really do, because the panic meter on every position is high. Every position. You got to change something, because clearly what you're doing right now is not working, and it's enough of a sample size. This is not 1 month. This is not 1 week. This is not a series. This is an entire month of play.
Yeah. The other thing that bothered me with Cashman, that he said something to the effect of that he wasn't going to speak to the team, that's Boone's responsibility, or Boone will do something.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me?
Okay. When I heard that Hal was there, I was laughing. I was like, cool.
Oh yeah, he'll do something.
Yeah. Like, what is he going to do? They're not going to do anything. They're going to do the whole, the whole big deal about having an audit last season. We got to get to the bottom of what the problem is. The problem is you have a GM who has overstayed his welcome by 15 years.
At least.
Actually, when you think about it, they probably should have gotten rid of him in the mid 2000s with some of those moves that he made that they always blamed on the Tampa faction, but you can't always blame, like Pavano and Jared Wright and like those moves that they made. I don't know. I mean, yes, they got to get rid of Boone, but I feel like they really need to get rid of Cashman. They really do. I mean, it's too much. He's been there since I was in high school. He was an intern with the Yankees when I was in high school.
Getting rid of a GM doesn't do anything in midseason.
No, at some point soon, they have to get rid of him. My point was going to be, I'm turning 50 next month. Okay. I've been out of high school more than 30 years. This man has been with that team since 1991. They need new blood. Get Kim Ng in there. For the love of God. I've been wanting her to be back with the Yankees as a GM for decades at this point. I'm so angry. I'm yelling, and I don't normally yell on this show, but everything is so frustrating right now, and nothing is happening. Like, they're not creating enough of, oh yeah, this is a brutal stretch. No kidding, Brian.
Yep.
They're just so complacent. They're so complacent. And that drives, I cannot stand that.
Hey, you're selling tickets. You're selling tickets. You're making money. The building's packed. Who cares?
Right. That's what it is. Hal doesn't care.
We're turning a profit every year.
He's making money. They're turning a profit every year. He doesn't care. He really doesn't. This nonsense of, we want to win. No, you don't. You don't. Because you'll occasionally... No, but listen.
No, Stacey, I think they prefer to win if they could, but they're not going to sacrifice cost over winning.
No, but they're always talking about, we're trying to win. So they'll do like a big signing, right? But then they'll not do things that will also help the roster in different ways. And they'll keep guys around too long, or they'll do whatever they're doing with everything. And they don't make the right decisions. And the only way that this team is going to win, and people aren't going to like this, there has to be a rebuild. There has to be an actual rebuild, and there never will be because they don't want to lose money.
Nope. They will never rebuild.
Nope. So the Yankees aren't winning anytime soon.
They'll stay a consistent 85-win team before they rebuild.
Yep. Because we're going on 15 years since they made a World Series and won a World Series. And we're approaching the same drought that I went through as a kid. Then they didn't win another World Series until I was 22. They won one when I was 4. They made one when I was 7, but they lost it. And then after that, they didn't make another one until I was 22 and they won it. And now the kids these days are going through the same thing.
It's not fun.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. Before my brain explodes. Coming up, previewing game 2 between the Yankees and the Rays. Can they win this one? Probably not, but we're still going to preview it.
We're a week away from the All-Star Game, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond into your PrizePicks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first-inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks entries today. PrizePicks is the best way to get in action on every sport in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And testing my skills on PrizePicks this baseball season has been the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for a $100 first deposit match. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows that are covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now, available on the free Fire TV Channels app. And also, you can remember that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast on SiriusXM. You just got to download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, 2 games left in this series, 2 chances to try and salvage, if you even can, this series. So we talked about going forward how this could lead to a massive collapse going into the All-Star break. And with that Baltimore series on the horizon and a team that can't beat Baltimore, you got to try and take advantage of Tampa, and you need a big start on a Marcus Stroman later on.
Yeah. I mean, they could possibly, if they're really bad this road trip, like, could you imagine if they got swept in both series?
I don't know. We keep saying it. I don't know how you could keep the manager at that point. I don't
Right.
know how you can't make a drastic change. And I'm almost hoping for it.
I know. Well,
You know?
like, if that happens and he's still the manager, then the Yankees are not serious about anything.
No.
The front
And we'll
office
come on.
isn't serious
We'll come on and
about
tell you that.
anything. Yeah, ownership isn't serious about anything. No. And if they do, they would be at 40 losses, right?
Mhm.
They would go, right? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So they have a chance
After the
to
start
really,
to this season.
yeah, after that start, they have a chance of going into the All-Star break with 40 losses. And with that start, you would have thought that they were going to make it to 40 losses in like August, you know? So yeah, Stroman, 7-4, 3.58 ERA. He's been cromulent, as they say on The Simpsons. He's been fine. He's had some ups, he's had some downs, but compared to Rodón, he's been the better signing for the Yankees. Plus, it's not a big risk because it was only 2 years. So,
the Rodón one you're on the hook for a lot longer.
4 more years, babe. After this, really good, awesome. Yankees will be facing off against Zach Eflin. We spoke about this on Monday's show. He's 5-5 with a 4.19 ERA. He has stuff that can shut down the Yankees, even with that. And we mentioned that yesterday also. All 3 of the Rays starters are in that wheelhouse between 4 and 5 ERA.
Good luck.
That gives the Yankees problems. And what did we see on Tuesday?
You'll probably see it on Wednesday and Thursday too.
Yeah. It's just
good luck.
It's a chore watching this team. And like I said in segment 2, why are you watching them if you don't have to? Take a break. Take a break from now until through the All-Star break. Watch the All-Star festivities and stuff, and watch the Futures game, watch the Home Run Derby, watch all that fun stuff. But maybe give yourself a mental break from the Yankees. Because if I could, I would, but I can't. So
you're going to need it.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be a disaster of a road trip. It's already starting after one game. As soon as Rodón gave up all those runs in the first inning, I thought, yeah, this is going to be bad. This is going to be a bad 6-game stretch, adding on to the already bad losing 17 out of 23. My goodness. And it's just the same lip service all the time from Cashman, from Hal, from Boone. Where did this turn? When did this turn? How did
Red
this
Sox
team
series
become? No, I'm talking about this philosophy of theirs. Oh, the playoffs are a crapshoot if we just make the playoffs. What is this? You're the Yankees. This shouldn't be, we'll just make the playoffs and see what happens. No, not at all. Again, obnoxious Yankee fan kicking in here. No, your goal should be the World Series. Your goal should be winning every year. None of this coasting into the playoffs nonsense. None of this, if we get the wild card, we're in. No! Go after the division. What are you doing?
It's every year. It feels like it's every year now.
It's like a pod person took over Brian Cashman. Like, he gets all tough with the writers, like he did in the winter at the winter meetings when he kind of like snapped at everyone. And like, do the same thing with the team. I'm sorry. If I were the GM, I would have gone into that clubhouse before the game and been like, what's going on, guys? How are we doing?
Wake up.
Oh, right. You're doing horribly. Wake the F up. Wake up.
It's gotten bad and it's getting late early.
Really. This is like the angriest I've been on this show. I think I'm even angrier than I was last season, just because it's become an every year thing now. I'm sick of this. I am so sick of it. It's embarrassing. I said it last night. It's embarrassing right now being a Yankee fan. I feel like a Mets fan right now. Who wants to feel like a Mets fan? No one. Not even Mets fans want to feel like Met fans, but I feel like one right now with the way this team is playing. I'd rather root for the Mets.
They're playing better.
Yeah. How about that, Yankees?
They are.
That's how great you guys have been playing. And I love going on Instagram and seeing these guys posting like pictures of wine bottles and reposting their teammates' pictures of stuff. It's like, oh, I'm so glad that you're having a fun time posting on Instagram. Try winning some games.
Yeah.
Try winning some games.
Maybe get the average over 240.
Yeah. You know, maybe some of your starters can learn how to pitch.
Mhm.
Or, you know, maybe don't throw your horrible fastball in the first inning that everyone likes to hit. Maybe throw your slider a little more, Carlos Rodón. Anyway. Did you guys enjoy that? This is the first time I've really ranted in a while. I haven't ranted like this since they lost 2 out of 3 against Baltimore in, was that 21?
Did you get it out?
There was a season where I did a special 10-minute rant. It was Easter, and the Yankees lost to the Baltimore Orioles, and the Orioles weren't good that year, so it had to have been 21, I think. And I just went off for 10 minutes. And I feel good that I got this out. But this is going to be, if they keep playing like this is the Stacey you're going to see. This is the Stacey I never wanted you guys to see. I always wanted to be the even-tempered, it's okay, everything's fine. Nope. They've broken me. The Yankees have broken me.
As a great philosopher once said, it's not what you want.
No. Ugh. All right. One more time. You can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under our YouTube videos. There's a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions, comments. You can bitch and moan about the game. It's perfectly fine. I understand. And you can send us questions for Fan Mail Friday, and you'll get into segment 1 if you're an insider. But you can also leave your questions under our pinned comment Monday through Thursday on the YouTube videos to get your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Again, questions, guys. Leave questions under that pinned comment. Thank you. We will still answer your questions from YouTube. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this very heated edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you tomorrow.